All right. Hi, guys. I'm super excited to have Amanda Hepinstall, RN, here with us today. She has been an amazing nurse for years and years and years, and now she's an incredible coach with Optavia. And she has done such a great job sometimes explaining the science behind our program and what happens inside of your body. And so many people enjoy this that I wanted to share this inside of Loving People Healthy for you all to understand, get a quick glimpse. It's really just taken straight out of our Habits of Health book and life book that Dr. A has given us. And she's just going to kind of go through it and explain it. So Amanda, thanks for joining us. And I am so excited for you just to kind of walk everyone through what takes place in our body when we are on the 5-in-1 program and what takes place on and off and all those things. So
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me on here. The science of it is something that's truly fascinating to me. I am a nurse. That's all I ever wanted to be. And my whole life was a nurse. And because I wanted to help people heal and I wanted to help people with their own bodies. But what I found myself being was unhealthy. I was someone who was unhealthy, helping unhealthy people, and just knew the cycle of going round and round wasn't serving me at all. And so when I saw Nicole doing this program and was like, tell me a little bit more about it, and she shared the program with me, I started doing research, which I'm sure many of you have done your research on this program. But let me tell you, the science that backs our program is second to none. That's why we're fully supported by Johns Hopkins Obesity Clinic. That's why we're fully supported by 30,000 doctors' offices across the country, because it's backed on true research and science. This isn't just a fly by night, drink this magic shake and you're going to lose 1 million pounds. It doesn't work that way. It actually works with the physiology and the biology of your body. And so one of the number one things that it works with is your insulin pump, which is your pancreas, right? And it has everything to do with the production of insulin in your body. And so first of all, I want to talk about your mindset, right? Because the eating program is simple to follow. If you follow the eating program, you are going to see tremendous results in your body. Absolutely. But I want you to understand what's happening inside your mind. We have this 10,000-year-old programming. So there's not new programming from our brain from the creation of time. But think about prehistoric times, right? Think of cavemen. Think of the movie Crudes or something along those lines or the Flintstones. Well, they're a modern Stone Age family. But anyway, think of like the Crudes who, when they found an animal or an egg or a bushel of fruit, they consumed the entire thing. So that's how simple. I want you to think next time you grab a bag of chips and you eat the entire bag of chips, it's because you have this programming inside of your mind. There is nothing wrong with you. That was one of the biggest struggles that I dealt with. What is wrong with me? Why can't I stop eating? It's because you have this programming, and it's our job to fix that, right? It's our job to take ownership of it, to take responsibility and make the changes happen. And so recognizing that these things occur is actually what has helped me throughout my journey. Recognizing that, number one, it's not my fault, that I do have this ancient programming that wants to consume it all, because I don't know if I'm going to eat in another 5 days, right? That was prehistoric times. They didn't know when the next time they were going to eat. So they had to eat it all. There was no refrigerators, no freezers. It was going to spoil and go bad if they didn't consume it. But they also need to store it away to have energy to burn later for fuel, right? Welcome to the 21st century. We don't hunt. Well, we might go hunting on occasionally, but we don't have to. The most hunting is through our cabinets, through our refrigerators. Things last a little bit longer than they used to. They still spoil. Real food does spoil. And so, but we don't have to hunt for our food, right? We have food available to us. So that is the beauty of where we are today in this world. The other beautiful thing about this program is you're eating small meals more frequently throughout the day. So now let me talk about the science. And all of this information that I'm sharing with you is coming from Dr. Anderson's book, The Habits of Health. I am starting on pages 177 through 182. That's pretty much where I'm sharing this information from. If you have those books, go read that. It talks about your mindset. It talks about the insulin. It talks about your pancreas. And this is where I'm kind of sharing just a synopsis of that information. And so basically what's happening with the American diet, you eat 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? And an occasional snack in between. But we're eating these high glycemic, high carbohydrate foods that is causing your blood sugar to spike and then bottom out. There is no leveling of your blood sugars. If your blood sugars spike, your body goes, oh my gosh, our blood sugar is too high. We need to fix it. Produce a ton of insulin. So then your pancreas kicks in, also known as your insulin pump. Your pancreas kicks in and produces a ton of insulin to get that blood sugar down. But what happens is it sometimes overshoots and lowers it entirely too low. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm craving cookies. I'm craving chips. I'm craving all that good stuff, because your body needs to get that blood sugar up to another level. So you're going to have cravings, and those cravings come back with a vengeance. If you are having a ton of cravings, that probably means there's a lot of insulin in your blood trying to get that blood sugar down. But let me tell you some of the side effects of too much insulin. Too much insulin blocks neuroreceptors in your brain. Number one, these are the same neuroreceptors that addicts have in their brains: alcohol addiction, drug addiction, heroin, cocaine. These same neuroreceptors, sugar binds to those same neuroreceptors, causing the same addiction. You would never tell your loved one it's okay to go have a drink of alcohol who you know is an alcoholic. You would never go tell your family member it's okay to have a little hit of drugs when you know that they're craving it. You would never tell them that. The same thing goes for ourselves. We have to take responsibility for our own addictions. And sugar addiction is very real. And it causes a lot of this cascade of events that take place in your brain. Your brain does not recognize the difference between sugar and those street drugs and other things that we can become addicted to. Your brain does not know the difference. Our society says sugar is well accepted and you can have as much or as little as you want. But those other drugs are not as accepted in our culture. However, we still have to take responsibility for our own health. And so I understand addiction. My husband and I work with men and women in addiction. We understand that very well. We've lived it very well in our own lives. And so hear my heart when I share that information with you is that this isn't coming from a heart that doesn't care about that. I care about that. I recognize that addiction. So recognizing this in my own life was huge for me, because I needed to recognize that my sugar addiction was just as damaging to my body, just as damaging to my relationships, just as damaging to my mood, my energy, how I show up for work. And so seeing that and understanding the science. So I'm sorry, I went off on that little tangent. I didn't mean to, but I need you to know where my heart is coming from. So when you have this high level of insulin, there's a chemical in your body or hormone in your body called leptin. Leptin is the hormone that tells you to stop eating. You've had enough. Stop eating. We don't need any more. We're good. Insulin also binds to that same receptor. And so if insulin is binding to that receptor, leptin can't bind to that receptor. So leptin can't tell you to stop eating. So with that cascade of events, you keep eating and keep indulging, because leptin can't do its job, because there's high levels of insulin in your body because you're eating high carbohydrate foods. I hope that makes sense. However, with our program, here's what's happening. You're eating small portions of food more frequently throughout the day. So instead of having spikes and dips in your blood sugar, your caloric intake, your carbohydrate intake is stabilizing your blood sugars throughout the day. With that stabilization, there is no huge release in insulin in your body, in your blood cells. So if you don't have that insulin release in your blood cells and your blood sugar is stable, then leptin can bind and tell you you're satisfied. There's no reason to eat anymore. And you know when to stop. Your cravings go down, because if there's too much insulin, it's going to bottom your sugar out. If it bottoms your sugar out, you want more. But if your sugar is stabilized, then you don't have those cravings. So your cravings decrease. And so you see a ton of these changes happening. So if you're amazed, like, wow, I have no cravings. My energy is boosting through the roof. I feel so good. It's because there's not huge levels of insulin in your body. Here's the other thing insulin does. Insulin drives the calories into your fat cells, because your fat cells are like a depot, like a Costco or a Home Depot or that's where it stores this massive amounts of things, of food and calories and carbs for you to use later for energy. But you don't need that storage if you are eating every 2.5 to 3 hours. You don't need to have that massive storage. But if insulin is driving your calories into your fat cells to store it, it will also block those calories from being released. So those calories and carbs are what your body uses for insulin. So if it's driven into the fat cells and then blocked from being released, your energy level dips, your energy goes down. The other thing insulin drives into your fat cells are some of your female hormones, like estrogen is driven into your fat cells and stored in your fat cells. So if you're a female and you're seeing changes in your hormone levels prior to being on program, if you're seeing your energy level go down, your cycles change, that might have to do with with that insulin driving those things into your fat cells and then blocking the release of them. As you start to lose weight and insulin is no longer blocking, it can be released into your blood cells, and then you might see changes in your life. We are going to have another video on that because I do understand as well how your female hormones, but I'm sure all you men don't want to hear about that either. So we're going to have a special video where we can talk about your female hormones and how high levels of insulin affects your monthly cycles. And so we're going to talk about that on another day as well. But I hope that helps you understand that this program is not just a magic bar or a magic shake that you're eating. It's because every fueling that you're eating is 40% protein, 40% carbs, and 20% healthy fats. It's balanced nutrition. The fuelings are just a vehicle to help you get to your goal. This is just one phase of the program, but we want you to understand that there's a science behind weight loss, that it's not just go to the gym and kill yourself at the gym until you see results. It's all about balancing your blood sugars by eating smaller meals more frequently throughout the day rather than eating 3 huge meals or starving yourself all day, because that's what I did, starved myself all day. If you're starving yourself, your ancient programming says, uh-oh, I don't know when the next time I'm going to eat is. I better hold on to all of this food and store it away for later in my depot so that I have storage to burn for energy later. We're trying to fuel your body adequately every 2.5 to 3 hours so that you constantly have energy. Your body is constantly a fat burning machine and you are feeling really good, to help you get to your goal weight so that we can help transition you off as well. Did I answer that?
Yes, that was awesome. Will you show everyone the pictures inside of the book that you were showing me too, like just so that they see it as a reference so they know they're in the right section?
Yes. I'm going to unblur my background, so don't judge my background. I'm locked in the basement where my kids can't get to me. But okay, so the first one I want to show you is on page 180. Okay. This is about the American diet and high glycemic foods that we eat. This line right here is your food consumption. This is what is happening. Your blood sugars are spiking when you eat high carbohydrate foods and then bottoming out. This is insulin up here. This line right here is the baseline. That's where the baseline should be. And you can see we're all up here outside of the baseline. And so this is your insulin line, and it's just really up and down, but mainly up. It's always above the normal level. This is a graphic that Dr. Anderson put in that talks about how insulin drives energy and drives your calories into your fat cells. And so when it's driving it into it, it's also blocking it from allowing it to be released. So that's why you have very low energy. On the next page, page 184, is once you're on program and you're eating every 2.5 to 3 hours more frequently throughout the day, smaller portions. So you can even take the same calories that you're eating. If you're eating 2,000 calories, rather than eating, 1,000 calories, 1,000 calories, 1,000 calories throughout the day, you're eating more frequently throughout the day, you'll have more stabilization of your blood sugars and less spikes and dips. And then also your insulin levels are more stable. So you really want to make sure this is what our body should look like. And then when you have that stabilization, it actually drives the energy out of your body, which is what gives you that energy to do things, to just function in your daily activity, is because now that insulin is not there blocking the energy release, when your fat cells can release that energy and it's not storing them up.
It's awesome.
So page 177 to 184 in your Habits of Health book from Dr. Anderson.
You know, so many people come to our program thinking they're just joining some type of fad diet, or, oh, we just eat some food or drink some shakes. But guys, this is why this program is so life-changing. And we tell people all the time, we are not a diet. We are all about true transformation and lifestyle change. But when you see this science played out, it changes everything. This is why you feel so amazing on our program. You're actually getting your body to do what it was created to do. And unfortunately, the things we put in our body literally can be poison or it can be fuel. You have a choice. And if you start to view food as fuel, and it's not that all things are bad, because in moderation they're fine. It's when we go to the extremes of anything, or like the sugar to an extreme or the carb to extreme, that you can literally feel a difference in your physical stature in the day-to-day based upon what you're fueling your body with. So just know you have an incredibly scientific designed program by a critical care doctor. Yes, it is backed by Johns Hopkins. They have a write-up in our education materials. They back it because it's such an important understanding that this cannot just be temporary changes. So we just wanted to share that with you so you understand the beauty of this program. This is not just a get skinny quick program. This is truly about long-term transformational healthy habits that set you up for long-term success if you allow your body to do exactly what it was created to do, and that is work for you, but allowing it to do so. You need to do everything you can. I know I always tell people, I thought my body hated me. It never did what I wanted it to do. What I realized is I never did anything to set it up for success. I always thought the things I was doing was helpful. It wasn't. Like Amanda described, going all day without eating and then binge eating at night. I was allowing my body to be constantly in a starvation mindset. And so just know that's what's beautiful about this program, is it gets your body to work for you in ways that it's created to do naturally if you allow it and you set it up for success. That's why you feel so good. That's why inflammation goes down so quickly on this program. That's why your blood sugars go into stabilization. That's why people see amazing results quickly with their blood pressures, their cholesterol. Of course, we have disclaimers. There's no promises with that. But that is why we tell you to stay close to your doctor. If you're on medications, he might need to make adjustments very quickly. Not once you lose 100 pounds, once you lose 50 pounds. They have to do it quickly because your body is working for you. And that's what makes this program so special. So thank you, Amanda. Like she said, stay tuned, ladies. We're going to do a second feature on hormonally what's going on, because we know that sometimes can come into play for so many of us, and understanding why and what's happening can give you so much more encouragement. So we thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing this with us. She's so passionate about the science from her nursing background, and she just wanted you guys to hear and understand the beauty of why this program is so amazing, and once again, why so many doctors and medical communities and facilities support this program so much, and why we are the #1 health and wellness program in the United States. So hope you guys.
If I can add just one more thing.
Go for it.
I was never a book. I was never a book reader. I really wasn't. But then when I started falling in love with the program, because I saw the change it made in my body, I started getting into the books. And I honestly feel like this is what I should have learned in nursing school, because it really is about learning to create health. And so we can guarantee this program will work, but the long-term mental space takes time. I've been coaching now for 2.5 years. And what I've learned in these 2.5 years, I'm a different person today than even a year ago. And so I'm understanding and falling in love with what's actually happening in my body so much more today. So that mindset shift, that ancient programming, takes time. So don't beat yourself up if you feel like, oh my God, I failed again. It was Christmas. Oh my God, I fell off the wagon. Guys, that mental shift takes time. How you eat is just a symptom of what's happening up here. When you can fix what's happening up here, how you eat is simple. It's easy for me to walk away from some things. I can still choose to have a piece of something, I don't know, candy, a little tiny bowl of ice cream. I don't consume the big slices of ice cream cake I consumed before. I can have a small little and walk away and not feel like I need more, because mentally I'm in a different space, totally different space. And that's how you keep the weight off for the long haul. That's the long game.
Yeah.
And so do yourself a favor. You're investing in this program. You're investing in yourself. Invest in your mindset. If you don't like to read, that's okay. Start in the podcast. That's where I started. Watch the podcasts, listen to them, let them become a part of who you are, and let it drive you into the education. Dr. Anderson did an amazing job sharing that information with us.
That's so true. It's so true. Thank you so much. Thanks, Amanda. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and look forward to our second installment of Hormonally, What's Going On. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.